Here we are. Oops, the podcast. I'm Francis. He's Giulio. Nice to see you, G. How are you, pal?
Good, man. How you doing?
Well, I am great. Lots to unload on you today.
Love it. Unload.
Lots to unload.
Unload all over me, bro.
It's been a while. I feel good. How do you feel? Are you feeling good?
Dude, I had a dream about you last night, man.
Oh,
Speaking of unloading all over each other.
must be nice.
Yeah, nothing that crazy happened. We were doing a gig together, and I think that like you and Hillary were annoying each other.
Oh,
And I was like, God,
Classic.
this is so uncomfortable. And
We're
then I was just happy
brother
that
and sister,
I
he
was-
and I.
yeah, I'm dating Francis's sister, and I'm not actually. But yeah, that was like pretty much the whole dream, dude. So
Okay.
that's it. There you go.
Wow. Well, let her know that I do not forgive her.
Okay. Sounds good.
Dude, I have so much I want to talk to you about. Let's start with this. I have a guilty new pleasure, G.
Let's hear it.
I have been diving into the Call Her Daddy subreddit community, which is very active,
I'm sure.
to find daddy gang members who are seeking dating advice.
From her.
I think from each other.
Gotcha. Like-minded people coming together.
They
to
want
discuss their
advice,
lives.
yes, from the other people in this subreddit. And the Reddit is mostly populated by kind of theories about, the podcast and why the hosts don't like each other and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while you find this glimmering gem of a help me
Okay. let's hear it.
plea. And here's one I found. Okay. The title of this one is "In the Midst of the Sophia Mania. Anyone willing to give some relationship advice?" ? Okay, I'm going to read this as quickly as I can. Hey guys, this is my first ever Reddit post, so please bear with me. Today I stumbled on something that triggered me for some reason, and I'm wondering how to bring this up with my boyfriend, or if I should even say anything at all. My boyfriend, he's a male, 27-year-old, and I, female, 23, have been in a relationship for 2 years, and we have a great, healthy relationship. In our initial stages of getting together, neither of us were ready for a relationship, and we both acted as such, which led to us both being hurt by the other's actions in different ways. There was no cheating, per se, but behavior
Classic.
that towed the line,
Classic.
as both of us considered ourselves single at the time. This is just
Classic.
young
Classic.
behavior.
Young people
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Through some ups and downs and a short hiatus, we both decided that our behavior was silly and that we wanted to be together, and have been so ever since with no qualms. The reason I mention this bad period is because this moment in our relationship did leave me feeling a little insecure till this day. And while he is so good to me and I trust him completely, I still find myself looking at things like who he follows on social media, which I know is not healthy, but for anyone who has ever been there, once the habit starts, it's very hard to stop. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Today I went to look through his following and realized he has recently followed this girl, and for the first time I felt properly triggered. To explain who the girl is, he has his main group of close guys who he has grown up with, and one of those guys has a girlfriend, and he has followed a friend of that girlfriend. She is an Instagram model, in quotes, with about an 11,000 follower following.
Definitely deserves quotes.
11,000, man, that is trouble. Normally, I don't mind if he has followed hot Insta chicks in the past because it isn't a big deal to me. They are almost always massive accounts with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers that even I follow. Tammy Hembrow, Jen Selter, etc. This is the first account that he has followed with a smaller following.
A junior
Yes,
influencer.
a double A baseball ass model, knowing deliberately who it is. I know this girl has been mentioned by his friends before because one night we were all hanging out and one of the guys was flipping through her Insta. He gave us all his phone to show us this hot girl, and my boyfriend said, ready for this? "She's objectively good looking, but just not my type. Doesn't do it for me."
Love that. Taking ownership of the situation. That's great.
Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right. You fucking loser. None of us have ever met this chick, just FYI. I don't care whether he did find her hot or not, but now that he is following her, it contradicts what he said, question mark? I am thinking he only said what he said about her because I was there. Go figure.
Yeah.
Really? You really think?
Getting her off his trail, dude.
Which is weird that he would do because he knows I'm chiller when it comes to this stuff. I mean, hell, even I said she was hot that night.
Jesus, this is rough.
All right, this goes on. It's like another couple paragraphs.
Sounds like
from her.
this guy's getting ready to murder her.
Yeah,
dude.
she goes, I've thought about how I will bring it up if it is suggested that I should, and I won't do it in an aggressive way. I was just going to present my analogies above and ask him if he would think it's okay if I did something similar. She talks about how, if she followed one of his buddies' hot Instagram male model buddy, like, would he get upset?
It's not the same. There's no comparable thing.
She also says, of the 6 guys in their group, he's the only one following her besides the other guy whose girlfriend is friends with her since they've met. I think the reason it's triggered me so much is because none of the other guys in the group have done this, even though they also know who she is and find her hot. I feel like the others are mature enough to appreciate her looks and just move on. But for my boyfriend to actually follow her, I find it a little disrespectful. Lots to unpack here.
Love this, dude.
Lots to unpack.
I also love a proxy submission. Like, no one asked us to comment on this. This is great. We're like, we got it.
Yeah, we really do.
Subreddit person.
Well, this is just I think the difference between being 31 and 33 as we are and being like 27 and 23 as they are.
Right.
So what's your first thought on this?
I don't know though, man. I'm not sure that people like grow out of stuff like that. Like, I feel like that is definitely an issue that could come up for our age as well. It's not necessarily an age thing.
I agree. I just think that it wouldn't
it's more
cause as
representative.
much stress because we would be able to explain it or talk through it in a better way.
So it's funny. These kind of situations tend to really feed off of each other. Like a fungus of like whatever's going on, it makes it worse on both sides.
Correct.
So this guy's doing something to make her insecure. It might be subtle. It might be like he's just not as whatever. Maybe he doesn't want to have sex as much. Like very, very, very subtle. And then she's like, what's wrong? Starts looking into it, finds that he's following somebody, starts coming up with all these things. And when you're looking for stuff, you're going to find stuff. Like maybe he is fucking cranking it, looking at her pictures or whatever he's doing. Like granted, she probably doesn't know who he is or interested in him or whatever, but it still hurts. But I would argue that once you start getting into this rhythm, by looking at it, you're like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you need to be then more confident and more whatever it is that you are instead of worrying so much about him to bring that equilibrium back.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no...
That's what I take from this.
You're never going to there's nothing she can do that would sort of like wake him up to this.
There's nothing you can do.
Unfortunately,
just go be hot, live your best life, and he'll come back.
It's not as if she could then follow some 11,000 follower, abs guy. And then he'd be like, what? No, now I see how I did something wrong.
Yeah, but no one likes those guys anyway. No offense, 11,000 follower abs guy. No one likes you.
Dude, 11,000
hot girls don't even
followers
like you.
on either side of the aisle, to me, is not worth the time of following.
Okay, fine. But like the abs guys like aren't hot. Like guys follow the abs guys to learn how to get abs. No one's like, there are 5 things that really slow your metabolism. No one likes that guy. No one thinks that guy's hot. Like that guy definitely dates down.
I wonder what sort of a guy has 11,000 followers who is trying to be just a hot dude on Instagram. What is that? Like what is he? Is he a 7.5? Is he an 8?
Dude, I think he's a fucking nerd. Personally, and I'm not just saying that because I wish I had his body.
No, but I agree, dude. His body's clearly not good enough for him to be at 50,000 followers.
And if it was, I still don't necessarily think that just by having that good body and talking about how to get a good body, like I still think that guy doesn't date as hot of a girl as you think he would.
Now, I get it. Everybody starts somewhere. We're not talking about 11,000 follower guys who started their fitness account last week. If that's the case, good for you. Keep building. But I'm talking about guys that have been stuck around 11,000 followers, just posting black and white photos of their abs where they're like just out of the shower and you're like, how'd you get so damp? That guy.
Or the guy who's like trying to be cute. He's like the TikTok where he's like, he shows up with no shirt on and he's like,
yeah.
And suddenly he's dressed.
Yeah.
He's a hat on now. He's like, burp, 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 burp.
Or it's like or it's a still photo that's steamy and he's wearing a bath towel and the top line of his pubic hair is poking over the top of it. That guy. What the fuck is his deal?
Dude, that guy sucks.
That guy sucks.
The guy who laughs to himself, has big earrings, looks down and up and looks around, just goes.
These guys have no charisma. They have no personality, and they're not hot enough to actually make a go at it. So give up if you're one of those people.
Go read a book, dude.
Yeah.
That'll help you more.
Anyway, that's for the dudes. Chicks, on the other hand, for some reason, it just seems like there's plenty of opportunity to have 11,000 followers on Instagram.
Right.
As far as I can tell, women with 11,000 followers on Instagram can make tons of money, starting their own bathing suit brands or modeling for like juice companies. I don't know what it is.
Or literally just jumping.
Yeah.
Jumping and making anything in their body shake.
Yeah. They get to stay for free at 3.5-star hotels on Google reviews, like decent Marriotts. They might get be like 2 streets removed from the beach. That's where they get free lodging.
Yeah, I mean, dude. Yeah, the closer you can get to showing us the inside of your body, the more, without actually doing it, the more followers you'll get. It's true. There is that shortcut does exist.
Yeah.
Now, there's definitely a problem bridging the gap between doing that and wanting to do what you actually do. Because a lot of the time that girl is like, I want to be a singer. It's like, okay, but you just shake your butt. Like no one cares about your music. It's hard to go from I shake my butt to being the music person. I know you might be like, well, Cardi B, that doesn't count. Cardi B was a stripper. She has lots of personality,
very good
lots
dancer.
Lots of charisma. She's amazing. Everybody loves Cardi B. And then she was able to kind of do it. But it wasn't like she was an Instagram girl.
No.
Shaking her boobs.
No.
And then becoming a pop star. It's hard to make that jump.
Well, okay. But let's circle back to this issue, which is, the people that your significant other follows on Instagram.
Right.
Have you ever gone through the list of people that your girlfriend follows on Instagram?
Never. And you want to know why?
Why?
You want to know why? Because by doing that, and it works the same way for a girl, you're taking away that person that you were when it used to be fun.
Well said.
You're no longer that person. Instead of being the confident, fun guy who swept your girl off her feet, you're now a little bitch who just sits in the corner and be like, I saw you do that. I saw the way you looked at him.
Yeah.
I saw the way you looked. That's not the way you looked at me. I don't want to date a girl who looks like guys like that. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy, dude. And by looking, why do you follow him?
Yeah.
That guy's a loser anyway. That guy's not a loser.
I will say this.
Cringe as fuck.
I have no interest in following models on Instagram of either sex. I really don't.
I don't do it either.
I don't follow Jen Selter. I don't follow any of those people. It just doesn't do it for me. If I need sexual satisfaction away from my girlfriend, I'm going to watch porn. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing to this sort of tease that is, these pictures are so cooked up and so photoshopped and face tuned and thigh gap lengthened. Like I know it's fake. I don't even go window shopping on Fifth Avenue at Christmas. What's the point?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that I don't. And I have friends. This is a savage fucking move. Listen to this. Okay, so I have a friend who has a Finsta.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about these.
If you guys know about Finstas, a Finsta is an account you have that isn't the account you post on, so you can look at shit without fucking up your follower ratio. Mm-hmm. So you follow, 3. So this one guy I know follows a bunch of these like Instagram girls, right?
Oh, God.
Bunch of Instagram girls. His girlfriend found out and was like, "Oh, you fucking like that?" She sent the page he follows a picture of her in a bikini, and they posted it. That is a savage move.
Hang on. Wait a second.
You like those girls so much? Okay, I'm now going to be the girl that every guy's Finsta follows. Fuck you.
So she had a picture of herself in her bikini and she sent it to one of these accounts that he was following through his Finsta.
Correct.
And that account posted it?
Hard posted her.
Whoa. Well, first of all, good for her.
It's great revenge.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you like seeing all these girls? Okay. All these other guys are going to like looking at me now too, pal.
The shoe is on the other foot. Interesting.
But it was savage. I remember he told me, he's like, dude, that was savage. I was like, Jesus, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
like, it's crazy.
Yeah. By the way, what's the name of that account?
Yeah, literally.
All right. Look,
Pretty good.
you know, I really don't have any problem. I have no questions about the account. Maybe my girlfriend follows some male model accounts. What do I care?
Right.
But here's the
Or
question.
even if it's a guy who she hooked up with before, or like,
Yeah,
who gives a shit?
Here's my question, though. Would it make a difference in your mind if you saw that the account she was following had 11,000 followers or 100,000 followers?
Yes. And especially from this Call Her Daddy forum person, because it just that person's more accessible.
That's right.
Like we said, she's a junior influencer.
Closer to home.
It's more realistic that her
Yeah.
loser boyfriend could have a shot with this girl, as opposed to like, you know, Devin Brugman or like Bikini a Day or someone who has millions of followers. You know? It's a fair sentiment.
Jen Selter's never hitting your boyfriend back, but, you know, Floozy McGee down in Arkansas. What
Yeah.
else? She's not getting too many DMs yet, you
Dude,
know?
totally.
Her inbox is not unnavigable.
Totally. And dude, in American culture, like this idea of like being jealous about people that she was with before you, that seems like a young person's game to me and what I'm familiar with. I no longer give a fuck. If you're like, oh, that dude hooked up with your girlfriend, I'd be like, he had good taste.
Yeah. I hope it went well for both of them.
He had good taste. She's
I
hot,
hope he
right?
came. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. So this idea of like, oh, why are you following him? He used to, I just don't want him to get the wrong idea. It's funny to hear guys, and I've been that guy before, like not in a long time, but I've been that guy before where I actually thought I had legitimate critiques of these other guys that I was just threatened and jealous of. I would undercut his legacy. He's a loser. Oh, that guy, he's the kind of guy who, you know, he thinks that you're flirting with him. So you shouldn't do that. You know, you shouldn't do that because he thinks,
Oh.
I don't want to be in a room with a guy who thinks he can like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
lame, dude.
In college, my college girlfriend, whom I started dating at the end of my freshman year, a guy that she had dated in high school who was the class below her, came to Harvard the next year. And he was a stud basketball player. And I knew he was coming, and I knew that he was not happy that she now had a boyfriend, me. And so I did this thing where I wanted to become friends with him.
That's interesting.
And I don't really know why I did this.
Keep your enemies closer.
That's
dude.
what it was. That's what it was. And I reached out to him on Facebook, and I was like, yo, dude, heard your comment, heard a lot about you. Hope you're well. Excited to meet you. Like, if you ever, you know, have any questions about what it's going to be like at school, like, hit me up. Happy to talk. And over the next 3 years, we kind of just saw each other enough times, and I was always really nice to him. And when I was a senior and he was a junior, we were at a party together. He was drunk, and he came up to me, and he was like, hey, man, you know, I've been waiting years to tell you this, but like when I heard that she was with you, it pissed me off. And then I wanted to be mad, but over the next 3 years, I just realized you were too cool of a guy. I couldn't be mad at you.
That's great, man.
And we hugged each other.
That's
and
really
then
nice.
it was all worth it.
It's good to address the elephant in the room. Clap,
Mm-hmm.
clap for that. I thought you were going to be like, dude, hey, man, what's up? I'm excited you're coming here. You know, if you have any questions about what it's like currently banging your girlfriend, please let me know. It has definitely changed a bit as she's grown and matured. But dude, that's a good approach, man. It is good to kind of try to squash that. I remember dating a girl who goes to the same college, dating a girl in college can be difficult for a variety of reasons. So I had a girl come to the same school as me to be with me. Like she was a year younger. She was in high school.
Oh my God.
She then came to the same school as me. We ended up breaking up. And then it was hard from then on. Like we get back together in the summer, break up during the school year. And one time she hooked up with one of my friends. He was like not really my friend. One of my best friends, identical twin brothers.
Wow.
So it wasn't my boy, but it just looked exactly like him.
Might as well have been.
Dude, yeah. And I talk about this every once in a while on my stand-up. But dude, to the point where it like kind of fucked up my relationship with my friend. Because every time I saw him, I just saw the guy who was banging my girlfriend.
That's tough.
To the point where he like confronted me about it and was like, dude, like what? Like I didn't do anything to you. And I was like, I know, man, but you look like you did.
Yeah.
Right?
Your clone did.
It's a fair point. Like crazy. It's such a nuanced thing dating someone in college because then like you break up and then 2 months later you see them holding hands with some other fucking guy. and it sucks.
It does.
You know, and it definitely fosters a little more insecurity than the average situation, but you're also just young and like chances are it's the first time you've been in love and you just don't know how to handle these complicated feelings.
Man, I gotta say, being young is a sickness. It's a fucking mental illness.
It sucks.
The amount of stupid decisions that I made as a result of just being young.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was like places where I put myself into bodily harm, you know, like jumping off bridges into oceans where I hadn't checked the depth, cracking my head,
reckless.
Injuries, relationship stuff, dating, getting angry over things.
Doing cringe shit like when you didn't understand.
Haircuts I had, clothes that I wore. You write off. And the thing is, I wonder if when I'm 50, if I look back on my 30s and feel the same way. Because I finally feel at 31
you probably will.
That I've got a little bit more of a mastery of my emotions, that I'm on an even keel. I have a better sense of the world, and that I can make my own deductions.
You can make better decisions than you could have 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That will be more to my, you know, improvement and sort of awareness. But I wonder how much more. Obviously, there's always more development to be had, and I think that, you know, having children and building a family recalibrates your sense of what matters. But I don't think that when I'm 50, I will look back on my 30s and be like, oh my God, I can't believe how stupid I was, with the same sort of like that, you know, the gulf in stupidity versus
the gulf of stupidity
from 30 to like early 20s.
Absolutely.
I think it's the early 20s. I was just in college. I was really dumb.
But remember that quote, man, because I bet you talk to some guy who's in his 50s and he's like, you don't know shit. So
yes.
So who knows?
Probably true. All right. I have a couple other things I want to talk about, but you got something too.
Yeah, we can save it for the next one.
Okay. Speaking of dating, as we often do, I have a slight gripe about my relationship, something that happened this week.
Oh, great.
And I need your advice.
Let's do it, baby. This is what it's all about.
Okay. On maybe it was Sunday. I've been trying to be more proactive in booking restaurant reservations farther in advance.
Just to get the prime slot at the good spot?
My girlfriend does not enjoy the fact that we've been going to dinners at 5 p.m.
Oh, man. Why?
Well, for one, nobody should eat at that hour.
Okay. I like eating early.
I don't mind eating at 6:30.
Okay, fine. Five's too early. Unless it's a Sunday, right? Paisan?
Yeah,
Chris
there you
knows
go.
what's up.
Supper.
That's
Have a
Sunday
hot supper.
Sunday dinner at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Fucking Italians.
There you go.
Okay, sorry.
So
5 o'clock dinners.
I had booked on Sunday. I got a reservation at a really great restaurant called Don Angie.
I don't know it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of the top Italian places in the city.
Interesting.
I don't think it's on the level of Carbone, but it's not that far behind.
Got it.
So it's in the West Village, and the only time they had left was 5 p.m. But given the Carbone saga that I had, I was optimistic I could email them on the day and say, listen, we have this reservation. Is there any chance that we could eat at a more human hour of 7 o'clock or something? Of course, I did this, and they said no. It's either 5 p.m. or 9:15. And I thought 9:15 is too late for a heavy pasta dinner.
I would agree.
So we kept our 5 p.m. reservation. My poor girlfriend had to finish her day of work in the bathroom at the restaurant.
Oh, my God.
Answering emails on her phone because we both feel weird sitting on our phone at a dinner table where we think that the waiter or female waiter are judging us for having a bad relationship, that we're both not that we're both on our phones or something. I don't even know.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Can we say waitress yet, by the way? Is waitress totally politically incorrect? I don't know. Female actor, whatever.
Dude, that's a ridiculous thing that you guys would think. They walk into the kitchen, they're like, hey, how's it going? They're like, man, couple at table 3's really lost their spark.
You know what it is? Well, you know what it is that we've watched couples that do that.
Yeah,
and we always think,
I don't want to be them.
Look at these people. They can't even sit and talk to each other for an hour and a half once a week. Really? You know, it's pathetic and it's sad. So we've affirmed no phone policy, but then it does go a little overboard that she would go retire to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's too much.
To finish her. Anyway, the point is, I was very excited about this dinner. Date night. We're calling it date night. And, she's amped up Friday. On Tuesday, she tells me that she's going out to dinner with her friends, her girlfriends, at Lilia.
That place is the best.
In Williamsburg, which is another of New York's top Italian restaurants.
Best pasta.
Very coveted reservation. And the four of them were going. Now, I felt a little bit undercut. That my girlfriend, 3 nights before our fancy, elite Italian dinner date night reservation, was doing another fancy, elite Italian dinner with her friends 3 nights before. Did my date night lose some of its luster, some of its power and prestige as a result of my girlfriend going to this meal 3 days before?
Like, I don't know.
Do I have reason to be angry?
There could be a moment where she's eating the pasta and she's like, these mushrooms just don't hit as hard as the ones at Lilia.
My fear...
You don't have a right to actually have a gripe about that, though.
I don't?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
she
can't
said
tell-
the same. She said the same. Everyone was like, it would be one thing if it had been the night before.
If it's the night before, you're just like, why don't we just go next week? Like, we have a shitty reservation time anyway. But it must hurt a little bit more, too, because they had a better reservation time.
They sure did.
Did it hurt you a little knowing that, like, not only is she going before, she's also going at a better time?
I would just say that, that everything about her girls' night was better than the date night I had planned.
I think that...
Just about everything.
Yeah, it sounds like that has a lot to do with it, too. Just the fact that, like, she's like, okay, you can't create a good experience for me. I'll just do it on my own without you.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, she didn't have to go into the refrigerator locker at Lilia with her laptop with her girls because they were there at like 8 p.m.
They executed better than you were able to. That hurts. Just showing a mirror to yourself, as you say.
So I was like, oh, man, and it was one of those things because I booked these reservations and I surprise her. I don't tell her where we're going.
That's very fun.
And we just go to a restaurant and then we walk up and she gets excited. It's a fun little sort of present.
That is fun.
But had I known that she was going to Lilia on Tuesday, I would have booked a different type of restaurant.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I might have done, a steakhouse or some kind of sushi place or something fun.
Interesting. I understand. That's true.
Interesting, right?
Threw you off your game a bit. But
That
listen,
is an
man,
interesting one.
there's plenty of good surprise dates to take her on in the future.
Yeah.
You guys will perfect the method. And, hopefully she'll be transparent about her own personal plans.
True.
So it doesn't fuck up your swag.
Yeah, that's right. I would like to know more about her. In fact,
Gotta share her Google Cal.
She should share her Google Cal with me. In fact, I should be part of her friends group chat.
She should be wearing a body cam.
They should check with me about if they want to take her out for the night.
Correct.
That's what it should be.
Talk to Francis.
Last thought.
Yes.
I wrote another stalking joke on Twitter.
Great.
I'll read it really quickly.
Stalking, not stalking.
Stalking,
right?
yes.
So you were like just writing Christmas jokes.
Picking corn.
He's like, don't you hate when you get all the Butterfingers in your stocking and your brother gets the gummy bears? It's like, come on, Mom, mix it up.
So here's the joke, Giulio. I finally hit forget this device for all the Bluetooth connections I had for my ex's devices. It was exactly the closure I needed to move on with my life. It was getting so annoying that they would auto-connect every time I came within 5 feet of her house.
That's great.
Funny joke.
I think
Fine.
that's fantastic.
Perfectly fine. I appreciate that. Someone wrote, you write a lot of stalking jokes or something. Now, here's what I
You're
thought.
like, yes, I do. Go fuck yourself.
I sure do, right?
Look over your shoulder.
I think the guy making all the stalking jokes, that's a good sign that he's not a stalker himself.
Agreed.
Because the only thing I hate worse than stalkers are hypocrites. I would never want to be the guy who, after I make all these stalking jokes, it comes out that I'm a stalker, and then everyone's like, well, we should have seen it coming. You know, when Chris D'Elia got in trouble for the underage girl stuff, someone made a compilation about him talking about, you know, like younger girls or something, and then they put it to the Curb music, and it was like, you know, art imitating life or whatever, some kind of goofy thing. That's my greatest fear. Is that some dirty shit's going to come out about me, and then someone will dig through my old jokes and be like, look at this, we should have seen it coming. Right. So the fact I could never stalk a woman because I hate hypocrisy. That's my thought.
That's good, man. It's a good system to keep yourself honest. It's hilarious. Dude, very fair. Hypocrisy is worse than stalking.
I think so. That's how I feel. The new murder documentary on Netflix, American Murder.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, I would say pause, and you plan to. I would say pause the episode right now and go watch it, and then come back and start listening again. You watched it.
Yeah, and I find it disturbing in a very nuanced way, as I imagine you do as well. But let me just preface this by saying, so Francis told me I should watch it because maybe we could discuss it on the pod. Always fun to discuss some material.
We give each other homework assignments.
Yes, it's very nice. And I was planning to, I had come back from being away for the weekend. I went to Hillary's house to watch it, and my plan was after I watched it, I was going to go home. But once it had ended, I decided that I couldn't leave her alone. And I also didn't want to be alone either. Like it wasn't just for her. So that said, what are your thoughts?
Okay. So I have so many thoughts about this documentary. First of all, it's very different from the typical sort of true crime serial killer documentaries that we've seen, the Ted Bundy one or the Jinx or whatever, because in those ones, you see the guy, the murderer, and you're like, well, this guy is totally crazy.
Yes, absolutely.
He's totally mixed up. That is not a human being that I can relate to. I have nothing in common with this person. That's just like whoever made him screwed up in the making process.
That guy's been gone. That guy is not a guy.
Yeah, and
that guy's a monster.
And we almost feel safe by that othering of those people. We're like, well, that could never happen to me because I could never fall into what that guy is.
Right. And regardless of whether or not you could possibly have been a target based on his criteria or not, just like that guy's a psycho.
Yeah.
And it's like very obvious, especially after you see the whole thing. You're like,
right.
Even if it wasn't immediately obvious, there were huge red flags. This guy's a psycho.
Right.
And that clear distinction, like you said, is comforting.
It's comforting because you measure your own empathy and sort of capacity for kindness against them. And you're like, well, that's clearly not me. I'm not that guy, so I'm not going to end up killing people.
Yes.
What made this documentary, American Murder, so creepy was that the guy wasn't that far gone.
Not at all. He just seemed like an okay guy.
He didn't seem that far gone.
And even after, spoiler alert, he murdered his wife and children,
entire family,
his his toddler aged little girls. You still were like, this guy feels bad. He felt so bad. He like wishes he didn't do it. Something came over him. Dude, it was so crazy. It
was so bizarre. So, okay, here's what happens, right? The guy ends up, he's like, he meets his wife, they get married. He seems kind of like a quiet, meek, hardworking guy. He works on an oil rig. He's an operator. And
he ends up having a big glow up. He hot.
Loses like 50 pounds.
He looked terrible. Like he had this like really weird, like thin beard going on.
Yeah.
And like just like this awkward looking double chin. Like he like didn't look that good.
Yeah.
Like not to be a dick, but like he gets hot.
He gets hot.
He becomes a DILF.
What's a DILF? Data?
Data, like to
okay. He becomes a DILF and
he becomes much hotter than that.
He's just doing push-ups all the time.
All day long.
That's all he does. He just eats and breathes and sleeps workouts.
And does push-ups.
And of course he meets some younger girl on the side. They start hooking up. He lies to her a little bit about his intentions of leaving his family and his wife and she didn't seem. I'm not gonna assign any blame to her. She just was like whatever. And so
she may or may not have sucked, but that doesn't warrant being murdered in cold blood by your husband.
Yeah,
for doing nothing.
He can't figure out how to get out of his marriage.
Right.
And he starts pulling away, and we've all seen this before. I think we've probably been in this situation where you're in a relationship. Maybe you start getting feelings for another person or just other people in general. And so you start pulling out and becoming distant and aloof. Right. And it's obviously a warning sign.
Yes.
And
you're done, but you're like figuring out how to like get out of it without being a dick.
Exactly.
But end up being a dick anyway.
Yeah.
Moral of the story, just get out of it when you're ready to get out.
Get out of it.
Tell them like.
Yeah. The wife senses that there's all kinds of stuff going wrong. She's sending these really tragic texts to her friend on the side being like, he won't touch me. It's been 5 weeks. I'm weeping. And your heart breaks, especially since we're heading for something really horrific.
Yeah.
And they go to visit his parents. His parents don't like her, and that seems to influence his thinking towards her. She's also like 15 weeks pregnant with their third child. And she comes home to Colorado. They get into a fight. He wants to leave and separate out of the marriage. And then in his telling of it, she barks back at him. And the next thing you know,
you're right.
He's choking her to death.
Yeah, she says, you're never going to see your kids again. And he just fucking chokes her out.
And then, now she's dead. He wraps her in a sheet and then brings her to the truck, brings the kids
into the room who are like, what's wrong with Mommy?
What's wrong with Mom? Brings them into the truck, drives them out to the oil rig, which is like an hour away. And I'm going to just give you a trigger warning here. Like what I'm about to say, just what happens in the documentary, is one of the most fucked up things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So skip forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this. He buries the wife's body, and then he throws the kids into the oil tank.
A 20-foot oil tank.
And drowns them alive.
Is that what he did?
I think that's it.
When they were like, Daddy, no.
Yeah. I think he just tossed them in.
Are you serious? I thought he like strangled them before.
I thought that too, but somebody, a listener reached out to me and was like, I read further into it. He threw them in. And they drowned and were died. And one of the girls like fought back.
Oh, and she said, Daddy, no.
Yeah.
Daddy, no. Dude, what the fuck?
So okay. This guy is clearly, for however normal he acted or was,
right.
The fact that he has the capacity for that at all
right.
makes him a completely twisted, deranged guy.
Right.
He's just awful. But he wasn't doing the Ted Bundy thing.
He wasn't like he felt so bad. Obviously, he's like, why did I do that? Like something came over him, and it's just scary because it's like any friend of mine who's ever done something that didn't make sense, I'm like, that guy maybe could murder.
Yeah.
Or someone.
But dude, the reason I wanted to bring this up is that there were 2 points that really stood out to me. The first is, you noticed that there was both a man and a woman investigating the case,
yes.
questioning him,
yes.
right? And I think I could be wrong in my timeline, but it was like day 2 or 3 of questioning him, where the woman finally came in and she was the first person to say this. She said, your 2 children are gone and you're not crying.
Right.
Why aren't you more upset? And nobody else had noticed this. Nobody else seemed to have noticed the fact that his emotional response to the loss of his family was not in keeping with what humans should feel.
Right.
And it made me very appreciative that a woman was assigned to the case. Because I don't think the men in this Colorado, where it was, would have picked up on that. Nobody was picking up on the fact that he was just like calmly and collectedly answering the questions and being like, I don't know what happened. It's
right.
just this is where the last time I saw them and yada yada.
Well, I was thinking about that too, but then his response was good. Like, granted, there was clearly something that was not adding up about the whole situation, but he's like, you know, maybe when you suffer that degree of like a traumatic experience, you just like shut down and you don't cry yet, or it doesn't hit you right away. You know what I mean? Like, it was obviously a good point worth exploring, and like everybody knew that there was something up, especially when he didn't admit to the affair initially.
Yeah.
Like when they did before they did the polygraph.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, we got to ask you this. They already knew that he had been having an affair.
They did.
So once it's an interesting the way that they do it. Like once they catch you lying, they're like, all right, this guy's lying already.
Right.
He maybe could be lying more.
By the way, if you're ever in this situation, and let's just give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you are now a suspect in a murder case and you didn't do it, and circumstances are just pointing unfavorably in your direction, do not submit for a polygraph test.
Oh, he didn't have to agree?
Why did he do that? Yeah, he agreed right there and then. He was just like, I'll do it. And I don't know if that's ego, if it's he's watched enough CIA shows that he thinks he can beat the polygraph test.
Also, declining it is just like makes you seem guilty.
Dude, lawyer up.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
From the second that you're brought in, get a lawyer.
Totally.
And this guy was like, maybe if I'm just cooperative, they will look more kindly upon me. What an idiot, dude. What an idiot.
And also when they came in and they're like rubbing his back, like were they doing good cop, bad cop shit there to get him to like fully confess? Because they're like, this guy's caught. It seemed like they like felt bad for him.
Then he said that his wife had killed the children and they believed him for a second.
He said it, and he said it to his dad too.
Yeah.
The one thing about this documentary that's so crazy is how well documented it is on video.
So this is the second point, Giulio.
Oh, love it.
All right. Let's take everything that we've said so far and just put it in a box to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left.
Beat me to it.
We are going to...
Son of a bitch.
We are going to say that everything we've said is over here now, okay? That case is closed. Guy's a monster, all of that. So, with all of that said, I'm going to preface this by saying no way am I victim blaming here. But on a separate issue,
oh yeah,
the mother
sucks.
Was way too active on social media.
May she fucking rest in peace. But yeah, chill, lady.
Way too active on Facebook.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the murder. It has nothing to do with in no way am I saying she deserved that this was some kind of quid pro quo.
Absolutely.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not in any way.
But you know, you saw like him getting off the plane and the kids running to go meet their dad, and she like set it up to run it a couple times. You know, everything was so contrived, and she was posting more than anyone I've ever seen on Facebook, more than any parent we know, more than any political activist.
More than any influencer I know.
I've never seen anything, the volume of photos and dialoguing of, or, you know, of her family was just too transparent.
Dude, she thought she was like Kiara Ferran or whatever that lady's name is, or like something Navy, or like one of these like huge Instagram accounts. Hey guys, dude, it was crazy. It's like, who are for your six friends? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get you know, loving your family and wanting to preserve memories and stuff, but it almost seemed like she wasn't even living with her family at that point. Like they were just actors in her own Truman Show that she was building.
Totally.
And that really kind of made me, what are you doing?
Totally. Dude, she was also cringe as fuck. Like, there's honestly, in my opinion, one of the cringiest things you can do is just do like a full tongue makeout session on the altar when you get married. They were like full on like tonguing it up on the
tonguing it up.
Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I like it. What's the type of kiss that you hope to see at a wedding? What kind of kiss do you want?
Just like closed mouth, hopefully.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like, it can be a little like,
yeah, a little nibble, a little nibbly peck, like a fish that's tasting the bait but not taking it completely.
Correct. Just a little taste. Mm-hmm. We don't need to be opening our mouths.
You know what I don't mind? I don't mind a little kiss and a dip.
What's it?
Like a like a dip, like a little
like you're doing the tango,
like flourish. Yeah, just bend her over a little bit and give her a little, like she kicks a leg out, little dip. That's gonna take the applause in the audience from a 10 to a 20. instantly.
I thought you meant grabbing her ass. I was
Oh
like,
no,
Jesus
God!
Christ.
I'm not. No. Take it easy.
In the
you know?
home of the Lord, grabbing ass. Come on, dude. So the other thing. So yes, the wife so extra, but it was crazy how there is video of this entire thing. There's no like Ken Burns effect photos. Like you see the whole body cam of the police officer initially responding to the call. You see this guy who drowned his kids in a silo of oil acting innocent. And he texted her on purpose to like be like, where are you? He knew where she was. She was buried in a sheet in a fucking oil field. But like to see that, and then also like they go next door, and it's crazy how his neighbor says to the cops, he's like, he ain't acting right.
Yeah.
That guy ain't acting right.
But dude, this is my point. Ready? If he gets a lawyer and does not agree to take the polygraph test, I feel as though there is a decent chance he gets away with this.
I think that he didn't want to get away with it though. He was like too normal of a guy ultimately. No, whatever, which is crazy to say. You got to watch it to understand. Because I don't want you to think that I'm like acting like this guy isn't a monster or whatever, or at least was a monster during that time when it was important, whether or not he was a monster. You know what I mean? I don't think that guy can handle acting like he never did that.
Dude, I don't know, because the whole idea in his mind was that these actions are going to allow me to be with this new girlfriend I've got. This is my plan.
Right. It was crazy delusional thinking. He didn't think it through. He admitted that later. And I think that there was going to be a point where he was like, oh my God, I murdered my family.
It's possible. And yet his reaction in the following 3 or 4 days was too mild-mannered for me. He was too tempered in how he portrayed his emotions. And it wasn't until they really had him on the hook,
right,
and that he broke down and was like, I need to talk to my dad. And then even then,
he didn't feel the full truth.
He blamed it on his wife and said I had to kill her as because I was so angry she'd killed my kids.
Dude, it was really crazy. And I'm thinking about it more now. Like, there were no like interview. It was really well done because they had so much footage of the entire thing, the entire interrogation, the entire trial. They had it all. So they didn't need to have any interviews. I thought stylistically it was like really a great experience to watch it.
It was a little
terrifying.
You're in it. There's a what is it? I think it's the Coen brothers. I once watched a little piece about how they do their filmmaking slightly differently from how most people do. When you're at a table at a restaurant, and there's a scene at a restaurant, 2 people are having dinner or something. So often we'll see the camera angle from behind the shoulder pointed at the person who's talking. So you get a sense that there's a listener and a speaker. Right. You have both people in frame, right?
The muddy shoulder.
And then when the other person starts talking, they switch to the other side. The Coen brothers, and there's a term for it, I can't remember, I'm embarrassed, will place the camera in the middle of the table.
Oh, right.
And so that person, the only person you see is the person speaking. Got it. And then it switches from the other side. And it
feels
puts
like it's
you
talking to you
into the conversation.
That's crazy.
There was an element of that in this documentary.
Definitely.
Of feeling like you were in it.
Definitely. And to be honest, man, I feel like part of the decline of like cinema and like narrative films is the fact that everything is so well documented and there's so much footage of all the real shit. Why would I watch somebody pretending when I can actually see the real thing?
Yeah.
Right? That has to be part of it.
Well, yes.
Also, I know that people's attention spans are shorter. There's like a lot of things contributing to it, and we have everything on our phone, whatever.
Right.
But I feel like that, to me, like, why would I watch The People versus O.J. Simpson when I can watch the 10-hour O.J. documentary that was incredible?
I think there's still a place for fictionalized or like based on a true story, dramatizations of right. real stories. I definitely like stuff like that. You know what? There was we talk about movies a lot. There's a movie called American Monsters or American. Oh God, it's about these thieves. American Animals.
I haven't seen it.
It's really good. And it's these young guys who decide to steal these rare books, these Audubon books from a fancy library at a college campus. And they like go in and they try to steal them and the whole thing goes wrong. But the real thieves, the real young men who ended up going to prison are interviewed throughout the movie. and then it flips
Oh, that's
back towards the actors playing them.
That's cool.
And the actors playing them are actually resemble them quite a bit and are very well cast. So you get this kind of jump from reality to portrayal, which I like. They also did it in The Social Dilemma. They used those like fictionalized.
It didn't work as well for me.
No, it didn't. But in American Animals,
Yeah.
they did, and that's also a very, very good movie. I would suggest watching.
So, dude, it's funny you say that. There's this movie called Road to Guantanamo, and it's a story about these guys who were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they ended up in Guantanamo Bay when they hadn't done anything. Now, there are definitely some glaring holes in this story, but that's not important because they were showing the dramatization, and then they were showing the actors talking and the real people talking about it. And I didn't realize that was happening. So I just thought that when one of the guys is like a famous actor, he's the British guy. What's that show on HBO about the cab driver who goes to jail? You definitely saw it.
Oh yeah. The night before or the night of. Yeah.
Yes. The night of. That guy is in this documentary. And I was like, this guy's had a crazy life. He went to Guantanamo Bay. Like I thought that the actor was the actual guy.
Riz Ahmed or
Riz Ahmed, yeah.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed.
Anyway, Road to Guantanamo, it's an interesting one too. But
nice.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, last piece of filmmaking that I want to discuss really quickly is the Octopus Teacher or My Octopus Teacher.
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. So I watched this. We typically, my girlfriend and I do one for her, one for me. And the ones for me are grisly murder stories, and the ones for her are touching animal
you're a sick puppy,
documentaries.
Dude. Frances loves murder. And
She can't handle 2 in a row. So we got to do one happy puppy movie for her, and then one grisly murder doc for me.
Who can handle 2 in a row, bro? Fucking red flag central.
I could watch.
I'm like, I knew it, man. I knew there was something wrong with him.
Dude, these are so good. I find them. By the way, it is in the separation for me that I do enjoy them. I'm like, this guy is a total oddball. Yeah. There's something where I'm watching someone who I'm so different from. In the same way that I like watching Michael Jordan documentary, where I'm like, this guy it was just built so differently from me. I wonder what it would be like to be that human. I don't really feel like that for the murderers.
Right. It's different. It's like in an inspirational way as opposed to a, wow, I'm glad I'm not like that.
Yeah, you're looking at a fellow member of your species that has kind of moved in such a different path or was equipped with such different tools or such different wiring that you almost don't even see them as being a fellow human.
Right.
Anyway. My Octopus Teacher. It's a documentary about this guy who becomes, he basically for an entire year, he goes diving into this kelp forest and does everything but sex with an octopus. It's like hits triples every single day for a year, keeps coming back. The octopus won't go all the way. He keeps thinking he's gonna. I mean, it's so intimate. I'm being a bit of an asshole. But it's endearing, and he has this insane connection with this octopus. It's the smartest animal alive, and it's tremendous. I would highly suggest watching it. But boy, he's also a little bit of an oddball. I mean, he narrates it, and he speaks about this octopus as if it's his wife. And it's her, the whole time. She did this. She's this. And it's very like sensual, and they have these moments of gentle contact.
Is this guy a native English speaker?
He's from South Africa, mate.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so he goes like diving with the octopus every day for an entire year, and then at the end of it, I won't give it away. Just watch the film. It's incredible.
That's pretty good, dude. That's pretty good. That was pretty good.
I like the South African accent.
It's really something. It's really
bro. Yeah, mate. So anyway, check that out. Those are our movies to watch if you have time this week.
Love it, dude. Well, dude, a lot of good thoughts there, man. It's been good hanging per usual.
Great hang. That was fun
podcast.
Today.
We got merch. Check it out. We got hoodies. We got masks. We got t-shirts. Hoopsthepodcast.com. Check it out. Also, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have every episode in full with video, so you can, hang out with us in an immersive fashion. Thank you for listening. Hit us up on Instagram or our email, oopsthepodcast@gmail.com, at oopsthepodcast on Instagram. I'm at Not Julio. He's at Francis CC Ellis. Share your thoughts. We love talking to you guys. And thanks for hanging out with us.
We'll see you soon.